Hello Games have listened and are delivering in the next patch for the No Man's Sky Voyagers update. To be clear, this will likely be patch 6.03. As many of you are still waiting for 6.02 to hit console, it'll be the one after that. The upcoming patch, currently in the experimental branch on Steam, already has a big list of notes, a few of which everyone is waiting for. The biggest thing, and what I'm talking about in the title, has to be the changes to the Corvette part cache next to the building terminal. You will now be able to manually place building parts into it to use it as a Corvette part storage. You can also quick move things from your inventory nearby it. It's basically just a new storage. This is pretty huge, as the parts being so cumbersome has been one of the biggest complaints since the update dropped. Not only that, but the slot count has been increased to 160, and Corvette parts can now be stacked to 50 per slot. If you have more than 50 of a particular type, you have no excuses, just trade them for stuff you have less of. This Corvette part storage is of course accessible from every station that has the terminal. This is like your storage containers where you can build them at every base, but it's the same storage you access through the container. Editor Zane here, note that the stacking to 50 is for your inventory, not the Corvette part storage, which stacks to 500. We definitely no longer have issues with storing our Corvette parts. Back to recording Zane. On top of that, there have been a number of other fixes, such as an issue that caused players to clip through the walls of a Corvette. Also, an issue that caused you to slide when you got out of the pilot seat in a Corvette, as well as another sliding issue on Corvette ramps. Fixed a rare issue that caused players to be jettisoned out of their Corvette when activating the pulse drive, which sounds kind of hilarious, but also concerning. There was an issue that caused Corvette technologies to be placed in the inventory of regular ships, which has also been fixed. Another issue has been fixed that prevented players from teleporting back to their Corvette after a save load aboard a freighter. Players can also now manually summon their Corvettes while aboard a freighter. Pirate and abandoned stations that have been given Corvette landing pads in the latest patch 6.02 have had issues with that system working. This patch now fixes that and you can probably dock with them. There was a somewhat hilarious and somewhat useful sometimes issue that caused you to sink through the floor if you sat in a chair above a Corvette. This would send you through the graphics and everything, so if you were on a space station and you sat in a chair in a Corvette, you would basically just keep sinking until you tried to get out and then you'd just be floating in space within the texture of the station. This has now been fixed, so you can actually sit on chairs. They've also fixed an issue that would prevent players from sitting on chairs on a moving Corvette. So hopefully the chair I have on top of my cockpit outside will now be accessible and I can just have the greatest seat in the house. An issue that prevented players from summoning a Corvette over water has also been fixed. They fixed two specific Corvette parts that would not stack or could not be spent after rotating, though they don't mention the names of those parts. An issue that caused the azimuth reactor to be uninteractable when you placed it down has been fixed. This was an issue and basically you could place it down and you couldn't then pick it up, move it or delete it or anything. There's a rare issue that prevented players from deleting some items once added to a Corvette. This has also been fixed. An issue that I've heard about for a number of people that was preventing them from teleporting aboard their Corvette if they had a Thunderbird style accessway. This has now been fixed in 6.03. Unfortunately, that might be a few days away, but I imagine they're going to really push this to get it out. And some issues with refiners that had multiple inputs has been fixed. Hopefully this means items you put in your refiner on your Corvette are less likely to be deleted when you're moving. On top of those, there's a bunch of other patch notes which are less likely to interest you, which I'll still whack on screen now, so you can pause and read them if you wish. But yeah, that's coming. We have the expedition should be launching tomorrow. I'll be streaming that as soon as it's live, while also formulating my guides for it. I will be doing some tips as well as a step-by-step, so keep an eye out for that, as well as other guides for No Man's Sky. Thanks for watching folks and have a great night. Peace.